Welcome to the show, and today we're going to be talking with Jesse from DAYS N DAZE. To start things off, here's a snippet, Rewind, on the album Show Me the Blueprints.
Well, am I insane? Well, I really must be overanalyzed till it all fades away. Am I insane? Keep clawing at my body aches, my insides are boiling, it burns, it hurts me a lot. Today needs nothing, tomorrow can wait. And yesterday's a story to tell, just not for today. Where did you go? You're not how I remember. I'll try all just games to a life drowned addiction. Where did you go? The sunlight brought a smile. Now clouds overhang the remnants of dreams we used to chase. Words we used to dyingly say. We're stumbling, no stuttering, a mess to ruin such a thing.
Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm with TRL, and we have the honor today to be with Jesse from DAYS N DAZE.
Hello.
Epically awesome fucking band from Houston, Texas. Very, very, very popular here. Man, just this is a big thing, man. I mean, like, how did y'all come to be? I mean, I got to hear the story.
When I was 16 and Whitney was 18, we moved to San Marcos, Texas, because she was going to go to Texas State. And we got this little apartment and started just writing dumb little songs to pass the time. And there's a coffee shop down the street called Wake the Dead Coffee House that you could book little shows at. There's a few open mics around and stuff. And after we had a few covers down and we'd written like 2 just awful songs, we decided we wanted to share them with some people. So we booked an open mic and then decided if we're going to play, we should have a name. DAYS N DAZE was literally the first thing that popped into my head, and we just never stopped writing songs and playing shows. It's history from there.
Hey, dude, it fucking worked, man. It worked. I mean, I just have to say, y'all are some truly talented people. Y'all, I mean, just wow. It's a
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Your music is an experience, and you know, I've talked to other bands. You know, we just went through our 4 years of trials and tribulation and the COVID and everything. You know, I mean, how did y'all fare through all that?
It definitely could have been worse. My wife Veronica and I were lucky enough to be hunkered down with my family down in Houston. So we were with my sister and my folks and my sister's partner. So we weren't alone through it, which a lot of people were, unfortunately. So it wasn't so bad for us. I know Whitney was up in New York and Megan was with her family. So yeah, it could have been worse.
Wow.
Sure.
I'm here in Robert Lee, Texas, so that should say it all.
Yeah, holy shit. How did you fare through it okay? You retained some of your sanity through all that?
I'm already kind of a shut-in loner, so it actually was like a vacation for me. I really enjoyed it. It gave me a reason to avoid people.
I feel that. I'm very much an introvert myself, so I did not have an issue with just recording and playing video games and sitting on my ass for a while. But
hell yeah! I actually really got into like the whole indie game scene and music, like shitloads of music. You know, I mean, it was an experience. It was an experience. It really, I would say, it brought out the best and the worst in people. It really did.
Definitely did.
It's kind of crazy.
Definitely did.
Did you end up catching COVID? Did you ever catch it?
No.
COVID?
If I did, I was asymptomatic because I didn't get sick all last year, so no one in the house did. Luckily,
we did. We ended up with it.
You did? Shit.
Yeah. The school here was kind of it's probably they kind of weren't too much into science, So it got way out of hand, and then everybody got sick, and then it kind of just spiraled down from there. It was pretty rough. I was sick for a while, like a month.
That's awful. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah. So, how did y'all all meet?
Whitney and I just met when we were kids through like mutual friends, and Jeff we met because we didn't have a gut bucket player for a show, but we had the gut bucket, and we just asked if anybody in the crowd wanted to try their hand at it, and Jeff did, and he just never left. And Megan and I traveled together for a little while. My sister was the original washboard player for Days N Daze, and when she stepped out to pursue her solo stuff, I rang Megan up because she had always played washboard while we were, busking and stuff. And she hasn't left yet either, so it worked out.
See, I told you I'm like from this little hayseed town and everything. I was like really into country music when I was younger, and then we didn't have the internet really here until about like 2010. Before that it was pretty janky, and I just kind of, like things progress. You hear one band, then you go to the next band. It started with Scott Bierum, and that's really where I got introduced to the whole kind of folk punk, kind of thing. And I mean, it's just been like an amazing journey. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's y'all's music is it's music. It's the soundtrack of a crazy time that we're all living through. And I mean, it's a lot more heartfelt. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm glad it comes across that way. We definitely try and put our hearts and souls into it.
But no, I mean, it's just like kind of progressed, and y'all just, I hadn't heard of y'all, like right off. I don't really have anybody here to introduce me to that kind of music. And I don't go to concerts because, like they're a million miles away. And just, when I finally was introduced to y'all, it was like, it felt like something I should have known about, and that's what I want to give to our readers. If they don't know about you, they need to, because I mean, y'all are
thank you.
Solid, man.
I really, really appreciate it.
Dude, I really appreciate it. Hell, it's been an experience. Actually, the first time I did mushrooms, I was listening to y'all. I was watching y'all's music videos.
How's that?
It was pretty hardcore.
I'm glad we didn't freak you out or anything.
We're going to be taking a brief break, and we're going to be listening to Misanthropic Drunken Loner in its entirety.
My breakfast was straight out the medicine cabinet, a remedy for the aftermath of my habits. Sometimes it's the ones who try to help that hurt the most. I feel like we're playing tug of war and I'm the rope and I'm stretched to the limit, but you keep on pulling in. I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. I'm gonna lose my mind. But I'm sorry, I just like myself more than I like you. So call me antisocial, call it masturbation. Either way, it's a solo operation. I'm just far more comfortable alone.
Here's that apathy.
Social call it masturbation. Either way, it's a solo operation. I'm just far more comfortable alone. Cause people are ugly and people are hateful, destructive and greedy. We're proud and ungrateful. The world would be so much better off without us. Swallow a polar apple of pill. Compost and training, this great love to fill. Distract ourselves to make us feel like we're not just mistakes. Distract ourselves to make us feel like we're not just mistakes. Seems that everybody always has a bone to pick, a promise to break. Never again will I make the mistake of trusting anyone.
Trusting anyone.
Trusting anyone. This is my misanthropic confession. Human beings are a waste of breath, and don't think I exclude myself. I'm an asshole just like you. Cause people are ugly and people are hateful, destructive and greedy. We're proud and ungrateful. The world would be so much better off without us. So swallow a polar apple of pill. We're all compost and training, there's great love to fill. Distract ourselves to make us feel like we're not just mistakes.
Distract ourselves to make us feel like we're not just
My
mistakes.
breakfast is straight out the medicine cabinet.
I'll tell you what, dude. Well, when I decided, whenever I was like, man, I need to interview these people, I put on my Facebook, I was like, does anybody know DAYS N DAZE? And then all these people, just like this giant chunk of people off my Facebook, you know, because I'm friends with, you know, like Joey and Jesse from Black Tarpoon and, you know, the Quinlan Conley and all them. And it was crazy, the response. Y'all definitely have a very, very devout following.
That's awesome. That's
It's
so
not-
cool.
It's an experience, man. But yeah, the first time I did mushrooms, I was listening to y'all. I was watching y'all's videos. And I'm like, I have a big screen TV, and that kind of, I don't know, it set the mood. You know what I mean?
That's right. I've never been able to watch videos on, if I'm taking mushrooms and just laying down, staring at the sky or hanging out in the forest or something, I can't, I get overstimulated very, very easily on any psychedelics. Just can't do it.
I think that's what I kind of shoot for.
Yeah, so I mean, some people, I've never been good at them, really. Like, so I try and take it slow and keep it calm.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people just want to dive in the deep end, and I mean, more power to you. Just I can't do it. Man.
I've always been an overachiever.
Hell yeah.
So, do y'all have any plans? Like, what's your upcoming plans? Y'all got any shows y'all gonna do, or I mean,
We do.
what's in the works?
Late August, we fly over to Europe to play with the Punk and Drublic tour. NoFX is, I don't know if they still have like the Punk and Drublic beer or not, but it was like a beer tour, I think, originally. And after we get back from that, I think Escape from the Zoo, my electric band that I'm in with my wife, is going to tour with Public Serpents from New York in February. There's Moonrunners coming up, Punk Rock Bowling. We've got a few things booked, which I'm really, really excited about, because as much fun as I had just hanging out with my family for a year and some change, it's going to be nice to get back on the road again and get back to playing shows.
You must have a really nice family.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah,
My favorite people in the world. Yeah.
my family. You know, they're my family. A year has been more than enough. But
Yeah.
do y'all play like Muddy Roots? I heard that's supposed to be coming back this year.
Yeah, we've never played Muddy
Yep.
Roots. I mean, people have asked us about it many a time, but we've still never made it out there. Maybe this year, next year. Hopefully, we'll see. Sounds like a good time.
Hey, dude, it's y'all would like a hand in a glove. Y'all would fit. I mean,
Hell yeah.
That's-
Yeah, we'll have to make it out there.
I haven't. I say that. You know, I've watched like videos of it, live feeds of it while it's going on and everything like that, but I haven't made it up there yet. And then I was supposed to go last year and COVID shut it down. And I'm hoping to go maybe possibly this next year or this year, you know, when it finally does happen. It would be it would be pretty epic. Yeah. But,
yeah, that's on the bucket list for sure.
Down here in the middle, like you're from Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like 8 hours west of you. So it's like close to Midland and Odessa. San Angelo. Yeah. You ever been around there?
I'm pretty sure we've been through there. I know we've been through we might have actually played a show around Midland or Odessa. That rings a bell. There was like, I think at one point we were just like, every time we go to California, we cannot just make like the trek from Houston to El Paso. There's got to be somewhere to play a show in between, so we don't have to just sit in the car through the desert and lose our minds every time we go west. So I'm pretty sure at least a couple times we stopped in Midland, maybe.
Every time I go to Midland or Odessa, I feel like I need to go get revaccinated. Oh man,
see that?
I used to do oilfield welding quite a bit, so sleeping in your welding rig in the middle of the desert welding is just not a lot of fun. So now I've moved on to journalism. So it just seemed like a logical step,
Yeah, makes sense. I can see where they overlap. Yeah,
there's that small overlap.
Is it? I can assume that journalism's quite a bit more fun for you. It doesn't seem like the former is a very envious position to hold.
Oh no, I enjoy welding. I like to create, like to build. I draw, I weld. I'm an electrician. I like working with my hands. But I've always had a passion. I've always had a passion for writing. And it's just something I love to do. So I'm hoping to write the next great American novel, like Hunter S. Thompson or something.
Shit, yeah, go for it.
Definitely. I think I could have hung with him beer for beer.
Have you read that the like schedule? There's like an article or something someone wrote of like everything he does, like every hour of the day.
Oh yeah. I don't remember it, but I've read it.
That's so ridiculous. Yeah, go back and check it out just for a giggle. It's pretty ridiculous.
There maybe when I was younger. I've actually chilled out quite a bit since I've gotten as old as I am. A lot older than I thought I would have been. So
same.
The millennials, So where did y'all draw inspiration from? Because y'all have a pretty unique sound. It's pretty much y'all's own thing.
I mean, originally we wanted to play punk music, but I mean, a drum set's super expensive. Finding a drummer is always a challenge. Amps cost money, all that shit. It was so much cheaper to just go with a bucket of string, a washboard, and an acoustic guitar than to have the whole setup. And I guess we just never got around to getting the electric stuff.
That's definitely the coolest way I've heard that particular question explained. Yeah. Drum sets cost too much. We're just gonna do this way.
Yeah,
that's
just
it's awesome.
Pure laziness.
Y'all made it. Y'all made it work. I mean, really.
Well, thank you. We tried very hard.
The trumpet, actually, that appeals to me quite a bit. I was actually first chair trumpet player back in high school.
Oh, shit. Nice.
I don't remember any of it. I played by ear.
That's rad.
I couldn't ever remember the names of the notes, but if I saw them, I knew what I needed. I knew where I needed to place my fingers, But no, y'all just have that really it's an original thing. I think that's why it kind of just grabs you. It's very, and then the lyrics are very relatable. I mean, they're relatable for me. I mean, I don't know everybody, but I relate to them very, very deeply.
Awesome. I mean, I appreciate that you relate to them. I'm sorry that you relate to them a little bit, but maybe means you've seen some darker days. But it does make me feel less alone to know that you've been there too. So thank you.
Yeah, misanthropic, drunken loner. really, really hit, that hits home really.
Yeah, that was I, the 2020 song for me, I guess. Right, just remind myself
Yeah.
that it's okay to just sit alone at home.
I tell you what's crazy, dude, is I actually quit drinking before COVID. I used to drink and I quit drinking. I haven't drank a drop of alcohol in 2 years.
Hell
And,
yeah! Congratulations
I
for that
finally,
one.
I finally have man, I'm getting stimulus checks in the mail. I ain't doing nothing. I'm stuck here at the house.
Hell yeah!
I'm like, man, I've been waiting for this all my life. Yeah, man. It, it is what it is. It's
Yeah,
an experience.
Do you mind if I ask
So,
you a quick question?
sure.
Disembodied voice here. Can you hear me?
yeah, I got
I
you.
was curious with the loss of a lot of venues, especially DIY venues, in this last year. How has that affected the culture of music and the politics surrounding it? And do you see any dark clouds on the horizon for the DIY culture as a whole?
I mean, I'm worried about getting back on the road. As far as booking goes, like you just said, a lot of those venues shut down, which is just awful. And I'm sure that a lot of places that we love to play in the before times, we won't be able to go back to now, which is heartbreaking. Um, I I think though, as far as just the scene goes, maybe 2020 wasn't as bad as we might have thought it was going to be, because with all the online shows and things, I mean, we got to play digital shows with people that we may have never played, actual live shows with. Got to hear their music, and so I was introduced to a lot of bands that I may never have heard of, and now I know how to contact them. So now that we're back on the road, we can meet up and hang out. I, as far as like the politics of music, I think is what you're asking about. I don't really. Everything kind of seems the same as it was so far as it was before. Um, I'm sorry. What was the last part of your question? There's one
Yeah,
more thing.
I was kind of worried about the future of the DIY scene, more like punk venues.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. As far as I am worried about venues, if we're going to get some of those back, or if they're going to build up and move and change into different things, or if they're just going to be gone forever. But the scene, I think, is well and good. I don't think there's any dark clouds on the horizon for that. I think a lot of us met a lot more people than we would have, like I just said, and you know, networking is only good as far as keeping the scene alive. So I think, if anything, maybe it gave us a little boost, and hopefully, when we all get back on the road, the shows will be bigger and better than they were before.
I would say that everybody having enough time to actually like sit instead of being, doing the grind, being a wage slave, doing everything you have to do to survive. That's something that the whole 2020 coronavirus, the depression from having Donald Trump as our fucking president, because I mean, come on. And
Yeah,
it actually made me turn harder to music. I needed music to get through that, because you watching the news would make you have a nervous breakdown. And
yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's just nuts. Yeah. Well,
that's a really good point.
I, I think, go, go ahead, my bad.
Oh, I was just saying, you made a really good point, in that people that might not have had time to sit down and record an album, or learn how to record an album, or even just write the songs to kind of get things going for them, had the time to do it in 2020, because they, like you said, they weren't being dragged around just trying to make ends meet.
I ended up spending a lot of time talking to people online about music, other musicians, that would tell me about this musician. And then, I'd listen to them and I'm like, oh, wow, why haven't I heard this before? It's because I'm from the middle of nowhere, but it was like eye opening. I would say it's like the silver lining to a really dark cloud,
Yeah, exactly.
the silver lining. And I'm hoping that maybe, through that, that experience, I'm sure many people shared that same experience, that maybe, like the venues will bounce back, maybe not be the same venues, but ones will take their place. because
Yeah,
everybody's always going to listen to music. I mean, music is,
definitely.
yeah, it's a necessity, especially
Right.
now, especially now. But
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how things go when we get back on the road. I'm hoping that the shows that, from what I've heard, I mean, people are already having shows, and the few folks that I know that have been to them say that it's wild. It's just everyone's coming out in droves because we couldn't for so long. So hopefully that continues.
yeah,
Keep building momentum on that.
oh yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I've seen some groups, doing small, small shows on, like online mainly, you know, but I see people getting back out there. I mean, several bands that I've interviewed they're slowly getting back out there. Either that or they released an album, that they had the time to actually put together, and just do the album and not tour.
Yeah,
And it's odd the impact that had. I mean, a lot deeper music, a lot deeper music. I would say 2020, it brought out the best and the worst. Not in
it's
music,
gonna
but I
be
mean the worst.
it's gonna be interesting to look back, like 5 or 10 years from now, and I wonder if I wonder if you'll be able to like identify what songs were written during the like shutdown. Just there's gonna be this whole wave
Dude,
of like really intense, like introspective punk music that was all released like because everyone just had the time. Like Doom Scroll released an album, Chatterbox and Latter Day Saints released an album. We had the time to record one for Escape from the Zoo. Like I know tons of people just had idle hands, right? You have the time, do something. It's gonna be cool
dude,
to see.
I you said that, and I was just thinking. Imagine having to explain 2016 to 2020 to like your great grandkids when they look back and they see videos and they're like, "What the fuck happened?
Yeah,
How did that
just so
happen?"
much unbelievable, ridiculous shit crammed into like the span of 4 years. Just it's been a wild ride.
It went
See
out
how
with a
things go from
bang
here.
too, dude.
Yeah, for
It went
real.
out with a bang.
Jesus.
I watched January 6th like live on TV. Because I watch a lot of the online pundits and stuff. Like Hassan Abi and Bosch and Destiny and people like that. In the leftist sphere. Well, I guess Destiny, he's whatever he is, but he's closer to that than the other side. And it's just, dude, it's surreal. It's like watching a movie.
Yeah,
And like
can't write this shit.
explaining. No. If somebody would have wrote it, it would have made more fucking sense.
Right? But yeah, things just ended up so much
Yeah.
weirder than my brain ever would have imagined that they would.
Oh man, dude. Have you had to deal with like the opposite side of the spectrum there politically? You deal much with the right wing? Have you? I live amongst them, so I have to.
I mean, I've just been a shut-in, so I haven't like really seen anybody the last year. So I haven't had
Yeah.
many run-ins with left or right or anybody at all. But I mean, yeah, there's a pretty gnarly right-wing presence for sure. When we went to vote, there was these fucking assholes riding around in a Trump tank. I shit you not, down like suburban streets. It was horrifying.
Yeah.
It's just like
that is horrifying.
You talk about not like feeling. I mean, my dad's Mexican. Me and my sister are, half Mexican, and it's just when we have these fucking assholes in Trump hats and Trump tanks and shit with like rifles and like, no, dude, you can't.
Yeah.
Come on, calm the fuck down. Realize that other people live here too.
Dude, I tell you what, man, I was one of those Second Amendment nuts like growing up. I lived out in the country, so having a gun is pretty much a necessity. Because we live on a ranch, so like feral hogs and coyotes and shit like that messing with our cows. So I've always had that real firm connection with wanting to own a gun, but treat it with respect, like the tool it is. It's a tool to get a job done. And then just to see this corruption of that culture, like where a gun's not a tool, it's a fashion accessory to, I guess, make up for your lack of balls or whatever it is. Those people, whatever they needed, they don't have. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't understand why they I guess, do they feel threatened? I don't know why they feel so threatened that they need a fucking. I feel threatened. I'm still not carrying a fucking gun around. Like, just Jesus. They're so
yeah,
terrified of nothing. Like, just calm down.
it's yeah. I mean, like, who are the machine guns for? You know, like,
Yeah,
and then Charlottesville. I watched that unfold, and I'm like, dude. I mean, it's like the American Nazi Party or something. I mean, these people, and then that weird detachment they have to where they do things and they say things like Nazis, but then they deny it. Like they try to have that little layer of plausible deniability, like the rest of us are a bunch of dumb fucks. Like like we can't read
it
a
is
book.
so it is so bizarre, right? It's like, if you're
Yeah.
about it, be about it at least. Like, you're a fucking Nazi. Just say it. Like, it's so bizarre to me.
I'm used to dealing with people, that are like that. Because out here in the country and shit, especially in a town, like a Jim Crow town like Robert Lee, you deal with people that feel that way, that have those beliefs. You deal with them as much as you want to. Like you see them at the store or whatever. They're all about it. They're all about it. But then you see, the weird thing for me is all these old timers that I thought, had like a brain, like a head on their shoulders. And they're saying the same things as those other guys, the other guys that are very much Nazis, they got swastikas tattooed on them. You see like the dude down at the bank wearing a Hawaiian shirt, like a Boogaloo Boy. This dude's like nearly 70 years old. And he's a Boogaloo Boy. What the fuck is that? He's got grandkids, dude. Stay the fuck off 4chan, dude.
Right. That's
Oh my God.
that's just ridiculous.
Oh man, dude.
It's
And then it's that's what I was saying is imagine, like in the future, if we manage to survive this, because it looks like it's creating a larger and larger rift.
yeah.
And that was something I wanted to ask you is, do you think you're going to be the soundtrack of the revolution, or do you think you're going to be the soundtrack of us spiraling around the drain?
I mean, I think it's a little much to say it'd be the soundtrack of anything, but if I had to pick one, I would hope a revolution. But of course, the pessimist in me believes the drain. I guess we'll just see where it goes.
I know what you mean, dude. I try to put that pessimism behind me. I try to be hopeful. I got kids, and I got all sorts of kids, and man, it's like what's going to happen. I end up thinking that for the first time in my life, I'm worried about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Before 2016, I didn't even pay attention to politics. I didn't have to. It was just boring old guy stuff. It didn't matter. It should have mattered, though. And I'm seeing that more and more now. It's
I think
shocking.
2016 and on kind of forced, like you're saying, everyone to become at least a little bit involved in what's going on. People that had absolutely no involvement or interest in politics beforehand, now you're just sucked into it. You have no choice because the world just changed so drastically, so quick, and became just this like weird funhouse mirror version of itself. So you kind of had to stay at least a little informed to make sure, we weren't about to get nuked tomorrow in the middle of your fucking breakfast or something,
Dude, I just, like, while we were talking, I'm using my phone as a camera, and I see a banner pop up from the news app I have. Trump supporter says that if Trump's not reinstated, there will be a civil war. I mean, they're
so ridiculous. I don't understand when Trump won, no one threatened a civil war. It's just, okay, this 4 years is going to be absurd. Let's push through. We'll get there. And we got there. Why can't you assholes do the same thing? Just concede and wait out your 4 years. Try again next time. That's how fucking That's how this shit works. That's how we do it.
Dude, I don't
That's
get it
the
either. I don't understand the cult of personality that's just mutated everything. I mean, like I was saying, it used to be like boring old guy stuff, and now it's like you better be involved, yeah, out of self defense. You
yeah.
better know what's coming, and it's just, and it doesn't seem to be cooling off any. That's what worries me. It doesn't seem to be cooling off. It doesn't seem to be finding like a happy medium. And
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
maybe it's gonna stay just below boiling point for 4 whole years, and we'll just have to be, on eggshells, till the next election, or maybe it's just maybe this is life now. Who knows? Maybe
Oh, God. Oh,
yeah.
ooh.
After I said that, I thought about it. I was like, can I handle that? We have to though. Just got
Dude,
one
I
foot in
want to
front
go
of the
back.
other.
I want to go back to not having to fucking care about the news. Not,
Hey, that's
just
the that's the
tell me
that's
what
the
the
dream.
yeah. Back to what would you call it? Melancholy, mundane, like a mundane lifestyle. You know that
Yep.
that would be nice. That would be nice. I would like old people to start acting like fucking old people again, instead of whatever it is they're doing nowadays.
So
Oh my
wallow
God.
in mundanity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want shit to be back on the even keel. And you got Joe Biden. Joe Biden's trying to be on the even keel, but nobody else is. So it's not working for him very well. And I
Yeah.
mean, like, I don't, like his whole thing with like unifying and unity. How do you unify with somebody that wants to kill you? Like, where's your common ground?
Yeah, it gets to a
And
point where, these people have made up their minds, and there's no change in them really. Like, what do you do then?
I don't even, I don't know. I don't even know what to call that. It's like willful ignorance to a really
That's exactly
bizarre
what it is.
extreme.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it, you have to want to believe.
yeah.
The thing, you get, they've already done that. They mixed Trump's like the second coming of Christ or something like that. I've seen that going around quite a bit. He's the chosen
Really.
one.
See,
If
I've
if he's God,
really been out of the loop for a while because Veronica and I moved into a new apartment and stuff, and I just too busy and too stressed out to really worry about it at all. But sorry about that. So yeah, I haven't seen any of that shit, but that's horrifying. I don't. Of
it's
all
not.
people too,
It's not
that you could consider like a Christ figure. Why that fat piece of shit? Like, I don't understand. Like,
like the
this doesn't
most
make any sense.
unchrist-like man.
Yeah, he's
I,
just
it,
dopey fucking, like, he's the poorest excuse for a human being that I've ever had the displeasure of laying my eyes upon. How do you see that fucking dude as a Christ-like figure? It's just your standards are so low. Raise the bar for your religious icons. Like, come on, if you're gonna believe in
dude, the
some
bar is
wacky
gone.
shit like that.
They did away with the bar. It's no longer in existence. There is no bar.
Yeah,
It's a hole.
it's
It's a
the
hole
truth.
now.
It's a horrifying fact.
It's just, it's nuts. And on a personal note, y'all's music, makes it tolerable, man. And like I appreciate that. A breath of fresh air. Like somebody throwing you a fucking lifesaver. When you're drowning. That's what music is nowadays. And I think it'll become more and more important as we make our slow descent into insanity. And hope for the best, but expect the worst. That's kind of where I'm at. And
Yeah,
I just don't know what
I
else
feel
to
you.
do. Let me think. So, I'm trying to think of everything that we've covered because I kind of have a list I go through, and this goes a lot differently whenever it's written down. Uh, do you have anything you want to talk about, like upcoming events or anything like that?
I mean, I was talking about Punk and Drublick and couple tours that we have coming up. The Escape from the Zoo album will be out hopefully in the next couple months. That's really all we have going on right now. Just kind of waiting to hit the road again.
Yeah, kind of inopportune time on my part. Dang, dude. I mean, I had a million questions. I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Right on. But,
Like I said, this is our maiden voyage. You know what I mean?
yeah. The Zoom call thing is way different than the typing out interview.
Yeah.
I imagine for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I have a question for you. What kept your mind going over the last year? What kept your idle hands at bay? You said you're playing video games. We've been playing a ton of video games over here as well.
Oh yeah, dude. Indie video games, man. I got into this free-sourced video game called Cataclysm DDA, and it's like a Dark Days Ahead. Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, and it's free. It's free to buy. I mean, you don't have to buy it. It's open source, and it's just this like ever-evolving simulation of like existence in a zombie apocalypse, basically. But it's just done so well, and it's so moddable that you'll never have the same experience twice.
Hell yeah!
It's one of those games like you know, if you could only pick one game, that game would do it. Fuck, they have it on everything. It's even on mobile.
Oh. Nice. That's what's up. Oh yeah, it's
like
I'll have to check that out. It seems eerily close to real life, though. It didn't. There wasn't like a weird overlap there. I'm just surviving in this post-apocalyptic reality.
Yeah.
But I guess you can do it. You can do it from an armchair, so it's not quite as terrible.
Yeah.
So that makes it fun.
Yeah,
it's weird that the things that you can do from in a video game can be the most mundane, just boring ass shit of all time. For some reason, since you don't have to walk around and actually do it, it makes it fun. Like there's a video game called Power Washer Simulator where you just power wash stuff. It's a blast. And I don't want to power wash a house in real life. That sounds exhausting.
Did you or that Shipbreaker? Have you ever played the Shipbreaker hard space Shipbreaker where you're in outer space and you're dismantling spaceships?
That's it.
Dismantling. Yeah, that's all you're doing.
See, that sounds so relaxing to me.
And then there was another one I got into by Blue Bottle Games called Neo Scavenger, and it's basically a homeless person simulator, except in a world that's all fucked up and has monsters and shit like that. But it's text based, but I mean, like even down to managing your inventory is like a big deal, and it's just so brutal. I don't know. I'm thinking it's like the climate that drove me that way. I got into these roguelites. I don't know if you've ever heard of those before, but like if you die, you're done. You start all over again. You don't get a second chance. And there's something about just the atmosphere that it just appealed to me so much. And then like kind of rounded out with maybe like a game like Kenshi, which is and RimWorld, which are very similar. Like colony simulators. Trying to survive. Story. Like make your own story as you go. It's very. I didn't get a piece. I'd never used a PC until we got locked down. The COVID. So I went and bought a laptop and discovered Steam, and it really, opened horizons for me. I mean,
yeah, same here.
It's the shit.
I never knew what Steam was. It was always very confusing for me, and then Veronica got this laptop and like set it up with Steam and everything on it, and it's been such a nice way to just kill some time and like distract myself a little bit when I start to feel the anxiety really start to creep in.
I got two games for you that aren't on Steam. One's called Star Sector. Badass game. It's not on Steam. You have to buy it directly from Star Sector, but it's like a sandbox game, like where you can do whatever you want, but it's in outer space. You build a fleet. I always end up being a drug runner, running some kind of pink injectables from space. It actually has an operating economy in it. There's like an economy, And like, so you can look at where this sells for more here or this sells for more there, and you travel and you kind of like a
Holy shit,
space
that's
trucker or a pirate or whatever you want to do. Cataclysm, that's a definite one that I would check out. I mean, dude, and Dwarf Fortress.
Door
That's
Fortress.
dwarf. Like Snow White and the
Oh,
Seven Dwarves. Dwarf
Door
Fortress,
Fortress.
dude. That's the game to end all games. It's actually like the most complex video game ever devised. It's
I'll check that.
like a colony of it's like a colony of dwarves, and you dig down into a mountain and you build a fort, and there's an evolving landscape around you. Uh, it has its own history. It creates history like while you're playing. Like you can look back at the world, and it's all randomly generated. And
That's
it's
so
different
rad.
every time. So yeah, I mean, it's just that game. That's like a decade's worth of play right there. I mentioned RimWorld earlier. That's actually a kind of a ripoff of Door Fortress. Door Fortress. It's very basic graphics, but it's the content of it that actually makes the game. It's the content.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just really, really badass shit.
I know a lot of people are all about the like shiny new graphics and like everything has to be all HD and whatever. But for me, gameplay so far outweighs graphics. If it's got a really really good premise, it feels good to play, that keeps me interested, the story's great. I mean, it could just be blocks on the screen. Okay.
I don't know. I'm right at 40 years old, so the pixel art really appeals to me, like nostalgically. So like it's kind of a draw for me. So I end up playing a lot of games. That the indie games tend to have a lot more pixel art, and I don't, dude. Once you take the corporation out of the video game, and it's just an independent developer doing something that they love, it's like music. You get better music. Like
Oh yeah.
like what would be corporate music? Toby Keith is corporate music if there ever was corporate music. I mean, he's basically a propagandist. And the only thing you get from Toby Keith is a sore ass. I mean, it's just, it's
Like,
I
it
don't.
definitely
He
is,
should
yeah,
be.
yeah.
I think he should be tried for war crimes, personally. But then then like y'all the do-it-yourself music scene. Like you got that heart, and you have like real feeling, real emotion, stuff that people really fucking do. That like the good times and the bad times, and you can just like relate to it on such an intrinsic level, especially if you've lived maybe here and there. You know what I mean? You're like not always on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, for sure.
You can feel it. I mean, I personally, I struggled with alcoholism since I was about 16 years old. I was really, really hardcore alcoholic. And,
Same.
and, getting past that, was a bumpy ride, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I spent a good,
always is.
I spent a good portion of my life fucking up. And, I wish I could tell young people today that you're trading happiness today for your future. Like this fun you're having right now, that where you're drinking your days away, and you're not getting anything done, and you're not planning ahead. That's not really conducive to being a happy old person.
Yeah, or being an old person at all.
Or I mean, nowadays, when I hear about one of my friends dying, I don't even have to ask how they died, because I already know. I mean, there's not many of them left.
Yeah, feel that.
Even in a small town, I mean, it's been drug overdoses or murder in a town of 1,500. Cancer, murder, or drug overdoses. That's the way it's been going. It's nuts.
Yeah,
But
the the drugs. Like I luckily murder and cancer haven't been a huge issue for the people I know so far. Knock on wood. But Jesus, man, I just stopped counting how many friends we've lost to overdoses or cirrhosis or shit like that. I'm lucky to say that I'm sober now. I appreciate it. Like you were saying, you look back, you're having fun today, and you're fucking off tomorrow. But I mean, when I look back at the days I thought I was having fun, I wasn't even having fun. I was just drinking so I wouldn't, be an earthquake in a human suit.
So you don't have to deal with what's in front of you. That's why I drank. I didn't want to have to deal with the bullshit that I put myself in. And then, then I'm sad because my life sucks and I drink even more. I was up to like drinking like an 18 pack of Tall Boys a day. And that's in between the hours of 5 p.m. and midnight. I would slam an 18 pack every day. Every day.
Shit.
I
would wake up and start right when I woke up and then go. So I spread it out. That's intense. I had 5, slam, knock them back.
Oh yeah, that was my drug of choice, man. Pain pills and booze. I never drank hard liquor; it was too hard on my stomach. But beer and Lortabs, man. There for a while, I ate more Lortabs than I did food. And you know how that naturally progresses from Lortabs to something a little stronger, maybe oxys, and then Dilaudid, and then eventually end up with a fucking needle in your arm. And I just happened to scare myself bad enough to where I knew I had to stop. I was scared of dying. And I guess that's the only thing that saved me. I mean, because I didn't have anybody to give me a hand up. The only thing I ever got was called the junkie, and I didn't pick myself up by my bootstraps by any stretch of the imagination, but now sitting 2 years out, since the last time I drank a beer, I live every day, scared that I might pick one back up, but I know I won't. I know it. I can't.
Yeah.
But
same way.
Damn. I had a full ride to go to college. I had a scholarship for computer science, believe it or not, and just drank it away. It away. Along with along with 3 marriages.
Yeah.
Three marriages and a college education.
I've lost track of all the opportunities I've missed because I just couldn't stay away from the fucking drink, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
well, dude. I don't know. For me, it was like part of the lifestyle, like the lifestyle I led. Everybody drank. Drinking was like the norm, everybody drank. So it was what you did outside of drinking. And, out here in the country, everybody loves speed. And I think that's what saved my life is I hated speed from the get-go. It grossed me out. I didn't like it.
I just can't do it.
I don't want to go fast. I don't want to go fast. I want to go slow. That was my thing. But, man.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah, I'm glad you got out of it. That's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you did too, dude. I mean, it's a fight. Did you ever go to AA or anything? Did you?
Yeah, I tried, but it's just not my thing. I just didn't really do anything for me. I appreciate that it does a lot for a lot of people. A lot of my friends do it, but I think I'm so hard-headed. If I don't feel like I'm doing it for myself by myself, then the meaning dwindles in my mind, which is maybe a little.
I feel that, dude.
Illogical, but that's just how I have to do it. And
no. It's not illogical because if you build that need on somebody else giving it to you, then they have to give it to you. But if you build it yourself, it came from you, and then that you can just keep pushing, you can keep going on. And dude, that was me. I had one last big shebang, and one night I drank like a 30 pack of beer and ate like 10 grams of mushrooms and had this like horrific trip. I broke through to the other side, went to hell. It terrified the shit out of me. And then when I finally sobered up, I had a 6-pack of beer in my cooler and I couldn't touch it. I couldn't drink it. I just couldn't. And
Hell yeah.
I just walked away from
Do
it.
you,
And
do
then,
you think that a lot of people uh, have messaged me about like psilocybin mushrooms for medical use for like addiction and stuff. Do you think that maybe that was the mushrooms that helped you out a little bit there?
yeah, yeah, I did. It did because, like when I was just drinking, I was fixating. I hated myself so much. Like I hated who I was. I hated everything about me. I hated seeing me and other people too. Like if somebody was like me, I hated them automatically. And I'd never had reality shook before. And, like it was like a week where I ended up with a bunch of mushrooms. So I ended up with like, I don't know, like a big old bag of them. I don't even know how much I had, but it was like I ate 3 grams one day and that just made me sad and weepy. And then I ate 5 grams and that was kind of cool, but not enough. And then I was like, fuck it, go for broke, double down. And I did 10. And I, I'll put it to you this way. It's like I saw myself. I saw that drunk. I saw him and I left him behind. That's what it felt like. Like I walked away from it,
Oh yeah.
and it really it turned it. Now, I mean, like honestly, the only thing I'll smoke a little bit of weed now, and like if somebody's got some acid or something, I'll fuck around, but I'm not going to overindulge. And I don't drink. If I go to the doctor and I need to get stitches, I'm getting that shit dry. I'm not getting no morphine, no nothing.
Oh
Just
yeah.
I've had plenty of painkillers in my life. I don't need any more.
Killed enough of that pain. You gotta feel something sometimes. I get that.
Yeah, I guess that's what we end up running away from in the end. That's what it is. And
Yep.
I was always scared of having to deal with actual feelings, to actually have to deal with who I was. And then I found out I wasn't that bad of a guy. You know, I was beating
Yeah.
myself up. I
It's
drank too much.
it's crazy how your perception of reality of who you are and how other people view you becomes just wildly skewed when you're drowning your brain in poison. Because it's the same thing for me when I got sober. I was like, shit is not that bad. Also, I mean, the few things that maybe I was trying to numb or run away from, when I was forced to face those issues and move past them, it was just so much easier to do anything. And I mean, I felt empowered in myself knowing that I could do that without using a crutch too. It's like a reverse snowball effect when you're drinking, when you're using drugs and shit, that you're snowballing downwards and it's just building in a bad way. But as soon as you stop and you just fucking step back and reevaluate your life and really look at where you're trying to go, what you need to fix, and you start to fix it. As soon as you start fixing shit, it's a reverse snowball. Things just get better and better and better, uphill. It's like you just have to prove to yourself that you can start. Once you start, you got it.
Well, a big problem that I had whenever I was abusing, drugs and alcohol was procrastination. Because I'm either sick or I'm drunk. I'm either sick from drinking and drugs or I'm drunk and fucked up. And so my life ended up being like this roller coaster, except the peaks weren't near as high as the lows were deep. I mean,
Exactly.
the lows, like that next day after you really pull a bad drunk and you do shit that you wouldn't have done otherwise and you embarrass yourself. And then you spend like a whole day just ripping yourself apart over what a piece of shit you were. And not having to deal with that anymore, dude, it made life livable. It made life
Greatest thing
livable.
in the world.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to realize you're human. You're human. You're going to make mistakes. But what matters is how genuine you are on wanting to fix them. I mean, you have to. I have a lot better relationship with my kids now than I did. And what's weird is when I was a drunk and a drug addict, I was a womanizing son of a bitch. I mean, I treated women horribly, and I did whatever I want. I jumped every fence that was ever put in front of me, and I was a horrible guy. And I look back now, and it's like, wow, you really fucked up a lot of people. So now I've stopped that too. Like I'm using these last years as like I I wouldn't want to inflict myself on somebody else until I know for sure that I got my ducks in a row. And I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like I do, but I feel like, like, dude, I mean, you're in a small town, you start having kids when you're like 19, and, it's just fucked. I mean,
Yeah,
I never had
for sure.
anybody really teach me. I never really had anybody teach me how to act. You know, the my upbringing was just like a typical country upbringing. It's dad's the lawgiver. He's not there to powder your ass. He's there to whoop it if you do something bad. And but now, having my children having seen me, like what I was and what I am now, I have a lot deeper relationship with them. We're actually really, really close, and I'd never want to give that up. I never want to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
my family has seen me at my very, very worst. My family and my friends, and especially my bandmates, they've seen you just, inhabit that fucking monster that somebody can become when, you know, the the substances take over and you forget yourself. And luckily for me, they stuck with me, and all you can do every day after that is try and take accountability for the piece of shit that you were, and try and be a little bit better every day. Try and look out for the people around you and make sure that they're reaching their full potential, and you're doing what you can to help them do that.
when I was a kid, I had a group of friends, and we were kind of like the knights of the round table. We always sat, my other friends, we sat at the kitchen table, we drank beer. We were up to all sorts of fucking shit all the time. And over the years, that table has had fewer and fewer people at it. Until now, it's just me and one other of my friends. Out of 20 of us, there's only 2 of us left alive. And
That's wild.
I mean, I'm just glad. I'm just glad that I finally grew a fucking backbone and took responsibility for my own actions. I think that's really what it was. Is when I was abusing, I was always making excuses, especially if it was an excuse to justify me overindulging in something. And now, it's just like, quit being a dumbass.
Yeah,
Life's hard.
yeah, that's
Life's hard. It's way harder if you make it
ridiculous.
hard.
That it is. Yeah, that's crazy. The links that you'll go to justify using, and then like you said, you think you're making things easier for yourself. You think you're kind of giving your mind a little bit of cushion there, but it just makes everything so much harder for you and for everyone around you. But of course, sometimes you don't realize that in the moment because you're fucking drunk or
Did,
whacked out or
did
whatever.
you? Whenever I started drinking, I was like a happy drunk. And then over the years, I became less and less of a happy drunk and more of a angry, mean one. And
Yeah,
I don't know, that decline. It, I got to a point, dude, where I'm like, why am I even living? Like what? Like I'm not doing myself any good. I'm not doing anybody else any good. Why am I hanging around? And you know, to like look back on that now, it's like some drunk guy stole my car and fucking wrecked it while I was asleep. That's what it feels like. Oh shit,
yeah,
my bad.
yeah, I get that. That's a really good way to put it. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. But I have a lot of hope for the future. I have a lot of hope for the future. I do,
Oh yeah,
and I actually kind of maybe want to get into like helping people, because there's a whole bunch of people that are just going to call you a drunk or a junkie, or you ain't worth a fuck. And there's very few people that'll treat you like a human. And I think like I'd want to help somebody. I wish I could help somebody. I wish I could put the words together to take that load off their shoulders. I really do.
yeah. I do have a lot of friends that once they sobered up and kind of got their shit together, they went into you know helping other folks, whether it be like uh, like social work and stuff like that, or yeah, because I mean you
Believe it.
understand it's hard to talk to somebody about this kind of shit when they've never seen the depths of depravity that that road can lead you to. But when you're talking to someone like how we're talking right now, we both understand, we've been there, so it's easier. Something can actually grow from that.
I try not to be too hard on my parents because neither of them ever drank. They never did any drugs. They never drank. They were straight-laced, salt of the earth, good people. And they didn't know how to deal with me. They didn't know what was wrong. They thought I was just doing it because I wanted to, and it made them mad. And that's how they dealt with me. And it's hard for somebody to deal with you if they don't understand the language that you're speaking. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
I don't know about you, but if anybody asked me if I'd been drinking, I could be falling down drunk. I deny it. No, hell no. I ain't drunk. And I think that maybe if I was to confront somebody, or I was to try to help somebody, and they were to try that same song and dance, like I already know the steps to the dance. You can just cut the bullshit. I already know how the movie ends.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah, wow, it's a lot easier to stand on common ground.
We've really like hit all the levels here, man. This is a badass conversation, dude. I really appreciate it, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think we were gonna get this conversation helped me a little bit. I'm gonna come out of this a little bit better person. This is great. I thought it was just gonna be some questions about our tours and how we wrote a couple songs. So thank you. This is way cooler than I ever expected it to be.
I've been talking with my editor Steven beforehand, and we like, what questions are you going to ask? And I was like, man, I'm just going to try to have a conversation with the dude. We're going to be just like humans and just see where it goes.
Yeah,
and
nice.
Maybe us having this conversation might help somebody out there. Like if you are out there and you do need help, I mean, please find it before it's too late.
Exactly.
Please.
They're friends, family, people in the support industry. They care about you. They want you to succeed, be happy. It's hard to ask for help too, of course, but
it is hard.
Nothing
it's
more,
hard.
Nothing
you
more
have
important.
to. I don't know if it was the same for you, but for me, it was the hardest part was admitting I was wrong. When I was younger, I could never admit I was wrong. I was always a pretty smart guy. I had a lot going for me, like intelligence wise. And it was always really fucking hard for me to admit I was wrong. My judgment was wrong. And I say you have to take that step. You have to, admit you're human.
Yeah.
You make mistakes. And then you also have to realize that those mistakes aren't the end of the world. They're not.
Definitely.
You can be a completely different person, 2 years from now. And
there's always a road back. It could be long, but it's there.
Yeah. Just try not to don't beat yourself up too much. That's all really you can do. Part.
Once you start making those mistakes and you start beating yourself up about it, that's just that just loops around. It's a Mobius strip of bad decisions. Yeah, it's a good first step.
Man. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, dude, if you'd have met me like 2 or 3 years ago, you'd have hated my guts. Everybody did. I had pride in myself for being such a fucking, like, literally, dude, look.
Shit. Yeah.
That was me. I was Nick the Bastard. And I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought being an asshole was like the way to be. And it's not. It's not.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to think that, whether it's for whatever reason, but I'm glad that you don't think that way anymore. Because you're an absolutely delightful man now.
I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate it. I don't have to work near as hard as being a nice guy as I did at being an asshole. I really, man. But dude, I really appreciate this conversation, man. I really appreciate it. I think this is badass. This is badass.
Yeah.
It puts a human behind the music. You know what I mean? Like it gives your music and your performances a very deep sense of humanity that I think, I felt like I knew was already there. You know, I felt like I knew it was already there. It was, I hadn't we already? I You got your new album coming up, Escape from.
Yeah, Escape from the Zoo.
You got a new album coming up, the Escape from the Zoo,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't wait for that to come out. I can't wait for any new music to come out, but I've been, dude, really honestly, I've been on kind of a Days N Daze kick here lately. Days N Daze. And Daft Punk, believe it or not, it's been Daft Punk and Days N Daze.
That's an interesting combo.
I like all music, but
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I kind of got introduced to you and Daft Punk at the same time, and they both kind of fit a niche for me. I mean,
I'll have to check out Daft Punk. I've honestly not heard much of them. I'll look into it.
It's just chill music. It's just chill.
I'm about that.
There's not really, I mean, there might be more to it than I see, but it's just it's just good music. You know, it's dance music, sort of. I don't dance, but I like a good beat.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
Throw something on to do the dishes to or something.
Oh man, I hate washing dishes. I don't. You ever worked as a dishwasher?
Oh yeah.
You ever the dishwasher? Oh my god. I never could be a waiter. I never could make the waiter. I was always the dishwasher.
Same.
Oh man, that's a hell of a thing. You got your new album coming out. Maybe we've got a brand new day on the horizon. A brand new day. Maybe we see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know it can't stay crazy forever. I mean, one way or another, it's going to stop.
Yeah.
And
Hopefully it's a peaceful calm into everything, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, like you said,
I think like
hope for the best,
everything else,
expect the worst, right?
I think like everything else, people will lose interest, especially whenever, like those people that raided the Capitol, now that they're losing their freedom, like when that happened. I mean, that's why I was saying I felt like Biden should have done more to punish the people involved in that. At least take away their fucking job or something. We got people sitting in the Senate. What do you call it? Aiding and abetting treason and sedition. That's pretty crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
And I mean,
rowdy.
I don't know about you, but I think back in the day, sedition and treason used to have a pretty hefty penalty, and nowadays it's kind of like that's all we're getting.
Go back to work.
Good. Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what, I'll bet those guys, I don't know how many, I haven't been keeping track of the sentences the rioters got, but I imagine there's people in jail for a lot longer for a lot less.
Oh,
a lot longer for a lot less.
Definitely.
You're from like an urban area. You're from like a really urban area. And, I'm from a very rural area. And
I mean, we live like right outside. Sorry, please go ahead.
I was just curious if there was that same like chain of events that it just kind of keeps going. Like people just constantly probation, jail, then prison, and it just seems to be like a factory nearly. I mean, that's the way it goes out here. I see some of my friends. I'll see them for a couple of years, and then they go back to prison for the same thing over again.
That seems to be how it goes everywhere. Is it recidivism? Is that the right word?
Yeah, recidivism. Yeah.
Yeah, the recidivism rate is just ridiculously high because when people get out of prison, there's no one to fucking help them out, right? We need. Yeah. It's just you get thrown in the pen and they throw you to the fucking wolves. It's so.
And dude, I mean, it's that not helping people out, the not help that whole, like pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality that only a complete and total moron would believe is true. if you were dealing drugs because nobody would help you, and you go to prison for dealing drugs, and then you get out of prison and still nobody's going to help you, what the fuck are you going to do? You know, you're going to do what you know how to do. And, you know, the whole defund the police thing, I think they could have picked better phrasing for that than, you know, defund the police, because that's just automatically going to scare the shit out of anybody that's over 50 years old. You know, like, there should be some kind of safety net. There should be some kind of safety net. I mean, at least like where people could have a house and food. If, you know, if somebody had their housing taken care of and their food taken care of, you know, that would probably stop a lot of, you know, small time drug dealing at least. Or maybe just legalize drugs, because it's none of the government's business what the fuck you do with your body.
Yeah.
You know, it worked in
Real.
Portugal.
Yeah.
I mean, like, oh my God, dude.
That would
I
be a
mean,
good first step.
the war on drugs, man. Drugs won that motherfucker a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. We're just pretending it didn't, but it did. It did. I mean, if you think about it, dude, I mean, look at the world-sized fucking just screwing that the war on drugs caused. I mean, like, Mexico's like essentially a narco state now. And I mean, that's on us. We did that. You know, we buy their drugs and then they get our guns, and it causes all sorts of mayhem. And if drugs were legal, there would be no mayhem, because you could just go to the store and buy them. You wouldn't have to have smugglers and cartels and all that bullshit. Either that or, you know, it makes you wonder. I mean, like, I think about this. Are the people in charge actually that stupid, or is it, you know, like a money-making thing? And I lean towards more it's a money-making thing. There's lots of private prisons around here. Lots of especially juvenile prisons, private prisons like Wackenhut and what's that other one called? Something DC, I forget. I knew Wackenhut because it was in Bront, and private prison in Bront. It was for recidivists. That's where you went after you violated your parole for, you know, selling drugs. When you sold drugs, and then you went to the state school because you're underage, and then you go to the recommit facility, and they give you a 4-month sentence, but you have to act like a perfect fucking angel for all 4 months. Or maybe one of the staff members just burns your ass because they don't like you. And some of those guys were in there for years on a 4-month sentence, like 2 or 3 years over not making their bed or something like that. And the entire time, you know, making that money from the full beds.
So it's all about.
I'm a construction
the money in the pockets of those people that already have it in there.
Dude, I'm a construction worker, right? I'm an electrician. I've been an electrician or a welder or electrician for like 20 years. And a couple of years back, I helped build a county jail in San Angelo. I don't know if you've ever messed around in San Angelo very much, but it's a big town, but it's not real big. Dude, we didn't build a jail. We built a fortress. That is probably one of the biggest buildings in San Angelo. This just giant, I mean, like 3-foot thick concrete walls all the way through it. I mean, giant prison for a county jail. Why the fuck you got to have that many cells for a county jail in a town of 100,000? I mean,
Fill them up.
But, you know, like,
It's terrifying.
it just seems like tax money could be, you know, maybe spent more wisely.
Definitely could.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. Dude, I just want to say again that it's been an honor meeting you. You're a fucking hell of a guy, dude. You're a hell of a guy.
It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, Nick.
I loved your music, but now I love it even more, dude. You're a hell of a man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and I think our readers will too. I think our readers really will. I really think they will. And is there anything you'd like to say before we go?
Just thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. It's so fun chatting. Thank you, Steven, for helping out with the tech stuff. I really appreciate it.
We would like to thank you for joining us today. We're going to play you out here in just a second, but you can give us money for our admin and overhead costs that will be democratically distributed. on our Patreon or our Ko-Fi. You can also find us on Spotify, YouTube, and maybe Apple Tunes, iTunes, whatever, soon. If you would like to volunteer to help out at our station, you can contact us on any social media platform or on our email pictured below. You can also donate to our main artist who does our logos and a lot of our work at Solid Black Art on Ko-Fi. Should be down below. Thank you very much and enjoy.
What the fuck? Would it matter if I died one time, then the sky will still be blue? I'm no catalyst for change, just another breathing thing taking up a mineral. Everything's so fucking comical, waking up to drag. The worst part's that I know this isn't even close to how devastatingly bad everything is gonna get. Life's a joke, I'm just repeating the punchline. I'm drunk, so I'm just fine, but soon I'll be sober and broke. Counting out for the nth time, all alone. And I welcome writer's block with wide open arms, because if I'm not writing, I'm happy. Writing is just an escape from the day-to-day tragedy I find around me. So what the fuck? Would it matter if we just quit breathing? Our hearts could keep beating in a big place. Life's a gamble and tomorrow's never promised, so fuck it, I feel let's roll the dice. Everything's so fucked, it's comical, waking up to drag. The worst part, but I know this isn't even close to how devastatingly sad everything is gonna get. Every little victory feels so underwhelming, when all that I can think about is how the story ends and all the lessons that I've yet to learn. There's the future, the past, where I pretending the only place that I'm comfortable with. Every single second ever that I would before everything to the hell in a handbag. Time will keep on ticking, the earth won't keep on spinning. Despite what we want, who we are, what we fear, what we feel, one day we all must die. Take one more breath and say goodbye. So why the fuck do we obsess over success and failure? As long as we're breathing, we're all alright. So here's to conceding, I'm aware now I'm part of the fight. Everything's so fucked, it's comical, waking up to drag. Best parts, right now we're still alive, we can restart, we can dive into life with one. Make the best of the time that we got left.